Recently, someone asked me that his brother and his wife have insulted him many times, and because of it, he feels hurt. And sometimes he feels like thrashing and abusing them. So, what should he do? Now, this question might seem very personal, but it's actually a generic problem. The questioner wants to know how to deal with insults, hurts, followed by the anger. Now, I'm going to address all these things, but I will begin with the particularity of the question. So, Mr. Questioner, there are two aspects to your question. First, you're saying that your brother and his wife have insulted you many times. Now, before we go any further, I just want you to examine the intent of your brother and his wife. Why do they insult you? There must be a reason behind it. Find it. It's very easy to conclude that your brother has insulted you, but it takes a little effort to inquire that why is it that your brother and his wife insult you all the time. Most of us choose the easy way, which is to conclude, because understanding the problem takes an effort. So try to understand the problem. And I'm not saying that your brother is right. All I'm saying is that maybe there is a possibility that what you take as an insult is a concern that your brother and his wife have for you. Maybe you are unable to see it because you are too much caught up in your own thought processes. You really need to understand that nobody wants to believe that they are doing the wrong thing. Even if you're going to ask the hardcore criminals whether they are guilty of what they did, most of them would say that they did the right thing. So each one of us, including you, me, your brother and his wife, are just trying to do the right thing through whatever understanding we have of life. So instead of closing yourself with the thought that your brother is wrong, remain open. Try to look at the whole problem objectively. You really need to understand that sometimes we fail to look at the whole picture because we are so much invested in our side of the story. So without bringing in your ego, without any bias, just try to understand the exact cause of the differences between you and your brother and then deal with it. And if it can be fixed easily through right communication, then fix it. At least make an attempt. This is how you should begin with your problem. Now, if for some reason it doesn't work out, maybe your brother is too stubborn, maybe he's not willing to listen, then you should move on to the next step, which is the second aspect of your question. You say that you are severely hurt by them. Now let me say this thing right away, that nobody can insult or hurt you without your consent. Yes, people can say mean and nasty things to you, but getting offended is your own choice. You take a call. Now, what your brother would say to you is unpredictable. You have no control over it. But how you would respond to the words of your brother is your choice, is under your control. Most of us never get to experience this capacity to respond because we are functioning at a very unconscious level. It's as if anger chooses us. We don't choose the anger. I'm assuming that right now when your brother says something to you, you become full of anger. You really get offended. And as you are unable to express this anger, it goes on repressing within you. You are just holding on to a lot of anger. And repressing the anger is just bound to make you a bitter person, which I think that you already have become, because it takes a very unpleasant state of being to come up with the thought of thrashing and abusing your brother. I'm not saying it is wrong. All I'm saying is that you should at least acknowledge that you are at a bitter place in your life and you really need to deal with it. Now, how would you deal with it? There are two steps of dealing with this problem. First, you really need to express the anger that you are holding on to. And second, you should make sure that no more episodes of anger are there that result in repression. And how will you get rid of the repressed anger? By expressing it in a harmless way. This might sound a little impractical to you, but I want you to experiment with a simple thing. Whenever you are alone in your room, just close the door and scream, shout. Let out all the anger that you are holding within. Even if you want to punch the pillow, just punch the pillow. See, your emotional state is such now that you are just somehow managing to hold on to your anger. You are controlling it. It's just like a volcano that can erupt anytime. And eventually the volcano will erupt. Now it's your choice whether you want it to erupt on your brother or on the pillow. In my understanding, expressing it on the pillow or in your room in the empty space is much more intelligent. In this way, you are going to come out of it in a very harmless way. You won't offend your brother. You won't create a bitter experience for yourself. So first of all, you really need to get rid of all the repressed anger that you are holding on to. Then you can reach to the second stage, which is not creating any new repressions. So regarding new episodes of anger, I just have one thing to say, which I often repeat, that become watchful, become aware of your anger. Right now, anger is happening to you unconsciously. In the moment when anger happens, it possesses you. It's as if you are in the grip of the anger. And in that moment, you cannot think clearly, you cannot act clearly. You simply become a victim to your anger. But if you become conscious of the anger in the moment when it arises, then you will find that there is a certain distance between you and the anger. And anger simply loses power over you. If you can look at your anger with total attention, then you will find that anger simply arises and disappears. It's just like a flower that blossoms and withers away. If you can look at your anger like this once, the whole arising and passing away of it, then you will never ever be angry in your life. So I want you to do these three things simultaneously. First, try to have a communication with your brother. If the differences between you and your brother can be fixed through right communication, then do it, fix it. Second, get rid of all the repressed anger. Third, become aware of the anger. Become watchful of the anger so that no more repressions are created. Now, your problems are something that you have created in time, through many experiences, through many fights with your brother. And it cannot be fixed easily in one go. There is no magic pill for that. Fixing them will take time. So I want you to be persistent with these three things for at least few weeks or months.